How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to go over my planned Atlas strategies for the Path of Exile 3.24 Necropolis League launch. They've made some decent changes to the Atlas tree, as well as they've removed sextants. They've completely overhauled Scarabs, and because of that, it's going to be unlocking some new strategies, I think, for a lot of people, as well as maybe just improving some tried and true strategies. And I have this full list here. I'll just link this down below. If you don't feel like watching the video, you can go through here, but otherwise I'm going to go over the caveats of each one of these and when I recommend using them or what builds I recommend using them on. So first off, let's go ahead and start off with the planned tree that I will be using on League Start itself here with my first 40 points. So with this, they have added it to where you can get 100% chance to get any of the masters in a map now. Without having to use any scarabs in order to spawn them. Because of this node packed with energy, which isn't new, but the ability to get 100% chance to spawn Nico in every single one of your maps without having to use any scarabs makes this node even better than it was before. You know, it's going to give you a ton of extra damage early, a ton of extra movement speed, survivability, things like that. The soul fight, you're not even going to use it. It's fine. You're still not going to actually go into delve. But you do want to end up picking this up, and then we are pathing right here through these points for this chance to spawn Nico here. We're grabbing this 16% up here as well. And then we are going through the middle here for extra chance at Kirak missions on completion. Those are the only missions you can get on completion now. But that is what we're going to be focusing for. And then we are going to be rushing straight up here, grabbing this last 24% chance to spawn Nico to get him up to 100%. And then we are grabbing Unwavering Vision. This is going to be really, really good early on, especially with the addition of them having added up to 3 Atlas passive trees that you can unlock as you progress your Atlas. This means everyone is going to be wanting to start off with Unwavering Vision here. It's realistic that the early Scarab drops are going to be limited anyways. Like, your odds of getting the really, really high tier Scarab drops are probably going to be tied behind red maps. So you're not really missing out on much money or anything by not being able to find any Scarabs early on. And what this does is this is going to really jumpstart and propel your Atlas progression, because you're going to be getting a ton of extra points right away. So as soon as you pick this up, you're getting 20 Atlas passive skill points. So once you go from here, the next step is to, for my plan at least, is to be jumping into a tree where I am picking up more of these nodes here for additional map chance here. So you end up filling these out. You want to fill these out, as well as the Kirak mission chance here, and the little bit of chance at some Atlas scouting reports first. And then once you've put those points in, as well as get some extra chance for an additional connected map, then at that point you want to start putting your points into June. So you want to pick up these nodes first right here, which is just going to give you a large chance for June right away. You end up picking up these other 3 points here, and then you end up picking up all this other thing here to basically unlock to where you get it to a 100% chance on June here, as well as giving them an additional rank. The safe houses for June give a ton of experience early on. I mean, they give a ton of experience always, but especially early on, as well as with the changes to the veiled orbs only coming from Katarina. These are probably going to be, you know, I'm not sure what the drop rate's going to be, but it should be a really, really good source of income on top of the EXP that you are going to get from it. Same thing goes if we are going to be just turbo pushing safe houses. While we push our Atlas, it's always good, again, to grab this intelligence gathering here as well, while we cycle through maps as quickly as possible. When you get an extra 2 points, you can pick up this effective leadership as well, if you want to, but that's going to be entirely up to you. Once you have progressed your Atlas quite a bit, at this point is where things are going to shift depending on what build you are playing. If you are playing a build that is capable of doing Legion, then the tree that I plan to be doing, because I'm most likely just going to be starting on like a Deadeye and just doing standard MFing, you know, Dunes, Legions, kind of all the way is the plan. You see here, we're still pathing through Nico. We do adjust the tree here to basically take all of the Legion nodes as well as the Scarab drop chance here. as well as the Eater influence for these. And then we have some extra Scarab drop chance here as well, which is going to increase the chance of getting the rarer Scarabs. There's a few other Scarab nodes you can see on the tree here. These ones here that give you 100% more chance to get various Scarabs. But realistically, the Divination Scarabs are going to be worth like well more than anything else, as well as Legion, things like that. And all the ones that are available here are not going to be as valuable as something else. The only one that is maybe tempting to get is Harbinger. I might end up picking that up and tinkering around with it for a bit, but most likely I'm not going to end up on any of these trees because I don't want to dilute the chance of getting Divination Scarabs or Legion Scarabs, which I feel are going to be sought after more than anything else. This amplified artifacts over here, which gives your rare monsters a chance to drop Scarabs per monster modifier affecting them, is going to be really big, along with the additional, basically all the sergeants that you have in your map from Legion. These are all going to be rares. You're going to be getting a ton of rares because of Legion to basically combine with your extra Scarab chance here and your extra Scarabs for rares. And then on top of this, what you can do is if the Scarabs are affordable, right, and your build is capable, then you are going to be running these extra Scarabs here. So they have made some adjustments where the so if we go to Legion here, certain Scarabs can be used more than once now. So as you see here, this Legion Scarab has a limit of 4. So you could run all the way up to basically getting 4 additional Legions. But you also have this Legion Scarab of Officers, which gives you additional sergeants for every single Legion faction. This is probably going to have a limit, so if you are spawning, like 4 or 5 Legions, you're only going to get these additional sergeants in basically for each army once. I don't think it's going to duplicate them more than that. So it's probably not even worth running this over just running an additional Legion, I don't think, at least. But then the rest of these are probably just going to be a little bit expensive. This obviously Legion Scarab of Eternal Conflict. If you can basically get this is probably going to be really, really expensive though because of group play as well as people just doing some really juiced MF strats with it. Obviously the effects of this with Inspired Learning or with Headhunter mean you're going to be getting a ton of buffs and a ton of extra loot from all of your Legions. So this is going to be for those people that are just completely devoted to just doing straight Legion farming on dunes non-stop. And that's going to be, what's going to be recommended for that. If you are playing a build that doesn't, necessarily specialize very well in Legion, or you don't want to be doing Legion, then there is a tree here that I've prepared for just doing Expedition with Scarabs as well, with the same Eater influence, with Big Bomb Expedition here. The Big Bomb Expedition to me is still just the best thing ever because, taking time to be reading expeditions, it's not really worth it. If you end up getting basically a thing where you end up bricking, that's fine. It's not very hard typically to just drop the bomb down, hover over the mods to see if there's anything that makes it immune to the damage type that you do. If there isn't, you just basically pop it and go. With almost everyone playing DD this league, for those that aren't going to be, specializing in Legion, DD is fairly good at Legion as well, but for those that, aren't playing a bow skill and they are playing something like DD, it works really, really well with Expedition because the corpse explosions can't be blocked, things like that. So a lot of the mods that the Expedition mobs are getting that would typically make Expedition very, very annoying basically gets completely negated on things like DD, which is most likely going to be the meta skill this league because it was not changed whatsoever. If anything, I think it just got buffed. They mentioned with T17 Spectres getting even more health, so buffs for DD, that's just what I needed, I guess. So with this, again, the plan is just June, Expedition, and Nico. You'll see basically for every single build that I have, and most builds that I think you're going to see around if you look at other people as well, they're going to be running on Nico on almost every single build. It really comes down to personal preference. For me, I like to just cycle my maps as quickly as possible, so I don't typically do really long form map content, that's going to take a lot of time. I'm really not a fan of ritual, things like that, or breach, things like that. It's not really for me. But June cycles through fast enough, and I think she's going to be rewarding enough with the changes to safe houses and such, and with the changes to the Veiled Orb drop, but we're going to have to test it to see. Next tree, if you are end up running this, you can run these Expedition Scarabs of Rune Finding here. This one is the basically the Silver Scarab here, which does give them 100% increased number of runic monster markers. This has a limit of 2, so you can stack more than one of them. Again, you basically do this, you're just going to be super juicing the expeditions that you have. Playing this on a build where you can't actually brick the expedition is going to be, recommended, but if you can't do it, that's fine. These led by Danig Scarabs are probably going to be pretty expensive, but if they aren't, then they're going to be worth running as well. But other than that, I wouldn't really worry about it. Same thing goes if you are just trying to run something really slim, and you don't want to do expedition, or you can't do expedition because your build isn't suited for it. I have a tree here that I might end up testing out early on. Honestly, like if June just isn't as rewarding as it seems, or the Veiled Orb drops are extremely rare to where you're not actually getting them, then I will probably rotate over to a tree very early here, with just fully investing in the Necropolis League mechanic here, because I want to really test this out. So you end up pushing into all 4 of the corners here. This one is giving you increased chance of specific crafting outcomes, basically for these. So you're getting increased chance at meta mod crafting outcomes, or increased chance at tier rating outcomes, or unique item crafting outcomes. Down here, we're not really sure what these are going to do yet. These monsters with unresolved anguish basically have a chance to leave an additional corpse. I'm not sure exactly what unresolved anguish is. Based off of Prospero's Rager here, I'm not actually sure if these are just going to be monsters that don't have mods on them. I need to actually look over to see if it was answered in the FAQ, but most likely because of that, just for extra chances at additional corpses here. And then same with Gravekeeper's Boon. We don't know what this does, so we have to grab it and test it out. If it's bad, you just drop the points. It's no big deal. Same with over here. Again, we want all of the mods to be a tier higher. And then we have this increased chance for devoted modifiers, as well as reduced effect of the haunted modifiers over here. The lantern itself basically, has higher chances of the devoted modifiers. I believe the haunted modifiers here will also increase other things, so there's going to be a reason to want to have higher tier mods on there. I presume it's going to basically affect the crafting outcomes that are possible based off of the tier that was on the mod itself. And then we have here, which is basically increased chance for haunted monsters to drop the Embers of All Flame here, and then also the same thing here where the leaders of the pack have an increased chance to be rare, and then some extra tormented spirits. I think just having them be having them have an extra chance to be rare will be worth it for this one. It might be worth dropping. We'll just have to test it out again. Just a couple points. This one doesn't use very many points, so if you do want to actually tie in the Necropolis basically into whatever tree you're trying to play, you can do that. So I didn't bother filling this out with any other specific mechanics, because this is one that I plan on doing probably early if I am going to do it. But I'm not fully decided on which I'm going to use it, or if I'm going to do that. Outside of that, we have a bestiary tree here. This bestiary tree, I wouldn't really... I think this is going to be one that's going to scale much better with Scarabs. So this one might not be early. This might be a late game build or a tree that I end up testing out. The plan is basically to do this once you can actually get these Scarabs here. So you can run the Bestiary Scarab of Duplicating and the 2x Bestiary Scarab of the Herd. So if you look under Bestiary here, the For Bestiary Scarab of the Herd here, basically this is going to give an additional 10 red beasts to the map, as well as this Bestiary Scarab of Duplicating is going to create a copy of every single beast that you capture. So these might be a little expensive, but again, if you are fully leaning into this, especially if you lean into this, they're probably going to end up being priced for group content. But if they're not, and they happen to work themselves out, then they're probably going to still be worth running, even if they're not, tuned for group content or priced for group content. They might still be worth running. They just will be a little bit more of a gamble. And then the last tree that I have basically that I definitely want to test is going to be a setup using Harbinger. Here with the all of the Harbinger wheels, none of these have really changed. They're all going to be the same, but the biggest things are going to be with the Harbinger Scarabs. So the base Harbinger Scarabs just gives an additional set of Harbingers each. So you're getting 3 additional Harbingers from every single one of these. So it's an additional 9 in your map already. And when you stack these with this Harbinger Scarab of Discernment here, it makes it to where your Harbingers in area drop rare currency shards, and then the drop a single type of currency shard. So basically this one has really, really high potential. So this one could be getting crazy. There's going to be someone who's going to be posting things where they managed to get, 45 mirror shards from a single map, something like that. So the upside of this one is extremely high. You can get it to hit a bunch of fracturing orbs. You can get it to hit a bunch of mirror shards. Or you can get it to hit, again, annuls. Anything like this is still going to be worth a lot of money. You can run the Regency as well. I don't know how much this is going to be worth it. I think you're probably still going to be better off just running more additional Harbingers with Discernment here and just going for the big payoff here rather than running Regency. But it's really going to depend on the prices of each of these things, right? If Discernment is really, really expensive, then you might just not run it. But these are the things we got to test. Yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Those are the main ones I'm going to test. I was maybe looking at something in regards to like the Rogue Exiles here. You can basically do a lot of things with getting a lot of Rogue Exiles here, as well as stacking this Scarab chance for unique monsters. This might be worthwhile and worth testing out, but that's basically, if you want to test it, definitely look at it. It's definitely there. You have a chance to basically get a ton of unique monsters in your map. If you are going to do that, I recommend doing it in something that has multiple map bosses. So if you're going to be doing them like a city square, something like that, where you're getting 3 map bosses already as well, just for 3 unique bosses or unique monsters, and then, get the exiles on top of that. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And other than that, see you in the next one.